little bit of time left, and they've told me that I have an actually great privilege of bringing up the accidentals and having a little Q&A with them. What do you think of that, all right? All right, Savannah and Katie, come on up. Hey, you guys, come on up. Savannah, how you doing, man? Nice to meet you. I'm just meeting these guys for the first time myself, you know, Katie. All right, so, well, I think there's some news that you might want to share. Congratulations. Is there some news you'd like to tell the guys?
Yeah, actually, we're excited to announce that we're releasing our new album with worldwide distribution under Sony Masterworks.
Wow.
Exciting.
Hey, so I've been watching some of your videos, and you're traveling around and doing all kinds of gigs and stuff. And it's interesting because I started the NAMM show on Thursday morning with kind of this grizzled old veteran, Robbie Robertson from the band. And he had just written a book chronicling the life of the band. And there are several of that generation who had written books now about that era and about what touring was like and life was like. I suspect it's different now. Describe life on the road at this point, maybe how it would have been different in that day.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. We weren't alive during that time. So,
yeah, that's good. I'm glad you brought that. I could have gone all day without hearing that one, but thank you. Please, go on. The elders spoke of such a time.
Well, actually, we're on the road with Martin Sexton right now. He's an amazing musician. He's been on the road for about 30 years, and we actually asked him kind of the same question a couple days ago, just kind of unprompted. And what he told us was that back in the day, he couldn't find a decent cup of coffee, and like if he wanted to get away from the rest of his band, he'd have to like walk, and couldn't find like he just slept in like all these sleazy motels. And I can tell you that we have Airbnb and Uber and Grubhub, so that's
and Starbucks.
Starbucks, yeah. So that's been super convenient and definitely changed.
Yeah, like I've recently started reading a lot of those memoirs, and it's hard to believe like all the things and like those music documentaries about that rock star partying scene, because we tour so much with our schedule that it's a struggle just to stay healthy and like stay alive when we're on the road. And we're total not partiers at all. Like, you know, it takes all of our energy to be on stage and be extroverts for a little bit, and so then when we have some time off, we try to force each other to exercise and drink enough water and go to Whole Foods. And
touring with us is really boring.
I don't think that Woodstock generation really was concerned about getting enough, hydration and stuff.
Yeah.
Besides writing great songs and performing with charisma and having all of that together, what are some of the ingredients you think are so important for success today for anyone aspiring to do what you're doing?
Well, we're lucky enough to have grown up in this kind of supportive community, and I think what that's taught us is that relationships are incredibly important to success, not just for yourself as a musician, but for your personal success too. It's really important to go out and shake hands with everybody you meet, because they've really invested their time into what you do. So that's what we've learned from that.
Yeah, we have a band motto, and the band motto is "Ask for what you need." And I think it's really important for us, especially kind of growing up in this industry, is learning what our strengths are and working to improve those, but also not being afraid to ask for help and taking every chance we can to learn something and to create a team of people to help us.
It's sort of the ingredients of any successful business, really, right? I mean,
absolutely.
DIY. Oh yeah, it's been crazy.
The idea that some of these, you didn't come of age when record labels were the gatekeeper. You've come of age where digital streaming and the ability to market yourself as you've done allowed you to get to where you are. How do you think others today can exploit that opportunity with great technology, great ability to share? How did you approach that, and how would that be, something you could pass on to some of these folks who are thinking of the same thing?
One thing I was kind of thinking the other day is that it's 20% talent and 80% work ethic. You're constantly throwing yourself into your business, and it's all about the sacrifices that you're willing to make. Like, what are you willing to do, and how far are you willing to go to get yourself out there?
Give me an
That's been
example of
huge.
that. When you've said, okay, we're going to
Yeah.
do this, it's like driving all
Oh, man.
night or what, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like our van's called Black Betty, and she falls apart all the time because we're the accidentals. So it's constantly like we're professional problem solvers now. You know, how much are you willing to work towards that and fix your van?
Yeah, and there's a lot, we kind of joked backstage about that little like triforce of like pick two. You know, like when we're in school, you can either have like sleep, you can have social life, or you can have good grades. And a lot of it, when we're on the road is, we do own our own business, and so a lot of our time is spent reinvesting, and it really takes like a good 5 years to see that reinvestment. But before then, there's a lot of time spent away from our family members and away from our friends, and we're kind of sacrificing all that energy and money, and it's really awesome to finally see a return. But it's a challenging process.
What kind of sacrifices do you think you've made?
Well, I think the biggest one is time away from our families. I'm sure that many people here can relate to that. When you leave, it's like your family kind of exists without you, and the roles have changed. So when you come back, it's totally weird, and people are different. And it's hard to fit back in, and it's kind of painful to wonder if this is a selfish pursuit, and if we're missing out on our siblings' lives, on our parents' lives, if we're just missing out on that part of life.
Yeah. Sav's got a brother who's going through puberty, so every
Thanks,
time she
Dave.
comes home, he's like even taller than she is now,
I know.
and it's kind of weird.
It's really
but-
painful wondering if you're doing the right thing, but I think what we've learned is that we don't take our time for granted anymore. We're in the habit of not dwelling on times where we're not there and just being present in the times that we are. So that's been a huge sacrifice, but we're so happy to be able to do what we do and to put our message out there.
The flip side, of course, is with those sacrifices come the joy on the other side.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I think the easy answer probably would be, the idea of being on stage in front of great crowds and everything. But what other things do you find the most joyful or enjoyable about being musicians and being on the road or being in the studio? Name some of the other elements that make it such an exciting time in your lives, offsetting those sacrifices.
Well, I really like the free food. Every time, just being able to show up to a place and they give you free food, and in return you play music. I love that. But otherwise, I grew up with a ton of social anxiety, and so music and getting on stage is kind of a great way for me to connect with people. An event like this, people are all walking around with the same passions, and so it kind of knocks down that barrier and allows you to come up to someone and make a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
Huh. So you've had so many experiences in just a short period of time, and you've learned a lot.
Yeah.
What do you wish you could go back 1 year and even tell yourself, or 2 years, and say, I wish I knew that then? Anything that kind of, God, I wish I could have missed that one.
I would say don't be afraid. Get up, get out there, and do what you love, and don't be afraid. Just be bold about it. Yeah.
Were you afraid then?
Yeah, fear is a common thread for musicians and for everybody. We're all afraid to get up on stage and to go do what we love and to dive out into a world that just seems so massive. But we do it anyway because it's worth it. So.
What do you think? What would you tell your slightly younger self?
Yeah, I totally agree with Sav. Actually, that's something I still tell myself every day before I go on stage. I'm like, fake it till you make it. Just, own yourself and, be confident and put forth, go forward how you mean to move on. So, yeah.
We heard that word authentic, before earlier, and that's just being yourself and not being worried about it, and just who you are, and you just do it.
Don't be afraid to be a nerd.
Yes.
Great.
We're proud of our
We're doing it.
nerdism.
For all the nerds. So I think we might have a little time for some questions. You guys might, want to have a little interaction here. What do you think? I'd love to see what's on your minds, and we can ask, these folks what they're thinking about. What do you got here? Savannah and Katie are just waiting for your answers. There's one there. We got a microphone coming, or are we just going to shout it out? You're going to shout it out. Good question. Has anyone ever told you, for those who might not have heard it, that your ambitions are too high? You're going too far, unreasonably far in your aspirations. Anyone ever tell you basically you can't do it?
we were pretty lucky to have a lot of support from the people around us, and we didn't. Everyone kind of said they're willing to help us do whatever we want to do, but there was, I have had people say like, you guys are working way too hard, like, making it kind of questioning, like Savannah said, whether it's worth it, and you guys are just going way too fast. But I think it's a matter of everyone has a different threshold, and everyone has a different set of goals, and it's really about your own definition of success and deciding that and moving forward.
You're gonna make me cry.
What do you think, Savannah? I never tell you, say you can't do it?
I mean,
And if so, how'd that make you feel?
I kind of have a blind ear to that. I guess that's not a term, but I don't really I try to like accept criticism where it is and kind of take it with a grain of salt, because what we're doing right now, it doesn't really matter whether people think it's one way or another. We're gonna go for it because it's like I said, it's worth it.
I mean, the joy of being a drummer is that if someone tells me I can't do something, that just makes me want to do it more.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just the
True.
contrariness in being a drummer, or maybe in a musician in general. All right, other questions? What do we got? Right behind you, Sharon. There you go.
Hi. I was wondering, you guys have so many different instruments on stage, and while I was listening, your sound was so interesting. Could you guys elaborate on the development of your guys' sound as a band? How you decided on the electric cello and the amps you're using and things like that.
Yeah, totally. Well, we started out on violin and cello in our high school orchestra, even before that, we both started in music educational programs back in our elementary school, so like when we were 11. But we met when we were 15 and 16 in our high school orchestra program. And back then, there was like this group called the Alternative Styles Group. So what that means is we would stay after school and like cover Led Zeppelin and MGMT on like our nerdy little dork instruments. It was a time. It was a good time. But then we kind of became a band by accident, hence the name. We kind of got thrown together for a homework assignment. We were a band that night, and when we started out, we were a radically different, opposite band. We were really, really shy, really introverted. We sat like on these stools, like kind of like these, and read off of like lyrics and stuff because we were just so freaked out. And I think we've evolved a lot in that time by kind of gaining confidence and growing into ourselves. And we were surrounded by a lot of strong people who helped us into that. So it's been a 5-year-long journey, but I'm proud to say we're finally doing it.
Yeah, we started with the acoustic guitar, and the electric violin and cello came in pretty early just because it's so exciting to have the mobility. Even though we did play alternative styles in our acoustic instruments, and we still love doing that, the electric instruments have kind of morphed into the effects world, and that's something that we listen to, like Andrew Bird and all the sorts of artists who use effects and looping processors, and so that's something that we're interested in. And we threw in the electric guitar and the electric bass, and in 2014 we had Michael come into the picture full-time with percussion and drums, and that really gave us more of a chance to get away from holding down the rhythm, and so we could mess around with the instruments a little bit more.
Yeah, one really great thing that happened was we were sponsored by several different music companies. So Shure Microphones sponsored us, Boss Roland, Fender, and Takamine guitars. They all came in and kind of gave us different tools to help us evolve our sound. So that was huge for us because, we're looking for new opportunities.
No more kazoo, though. We got rid of the kazoo
It's
a
really
while
cool,
ago.
those companies. I'll make sure I thank those guys for what they did to help out young musicians like that. That's pretty cool. Okay, another question. What do you got?
Hi there. My question for you guys is, what's your personal motto or things that you would say to any of the haters who tell you that you can't do something because you're a girl or you're too young or anything of that nature?
That's a good one. What we've kind of been working on this year is something that we hold really important is mutual respect. And so that's really what we look for. We try to treat others the way we want them to treat us. And respect is kind of putting everyone on the same platform and being loving and caring, and also being confident, of course.
But it also means like walking in and being a professional too. I mean, we treat this like a job. You go in and you take care of your environment. You don't leave trash all over the green room. You're not flipping tables in the background and stuff. You just go in professional, and that establishes this kind of respect because, you're not being young and kind of doing this full time has definitely led to some of those questions and statements, and having the mutual respect for people helps get rid of that.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's actually just a good way to live. In
Yeah,
general, right?
Right? Yeah, totally.
It makes for a good life. Okay, we probably have time for one more. What do you think? So, Sharon, there you go, over there.
Hi, I'm Jake from Fair State University. I was just wondering, how has it been going from like a small town in Michigan to going like all across the country, touring amazing places like South by Southwest and being at the NAMM Foundation?
Thank you. Yeah, Fair State is really close to our hometown, and we came from northern Michigan, where there's a really cool art scene. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think those are the fairest people. Michigan has always kind of been our home. Savannah wrote a song last year called Michigan and Again, and it's really stuck with us.
Yeah.
But I grew up, I think like I was 16 when I saw my first mountain, and I was like blown away. And I spent a lot of time in the Midwest, and getting to expand outside of that has just totally shifted my perspective on the world. And we get to meet incredible people. Every chance we get, we try to stay with people. We do a lot of Airbnb, or we crash on people's couches and try to learn a little bit about their lives and apply it to our life.
It's been amazing. Short answer.
It's cool.
But it's
a little
true.
overwhelming too.
Yeah.
South by Southwest was a blast. The conferences are something we love. It kind of just expands your horizons, getting to learn a little bit about everything. It's been
What are
fun.
a couple of the coolest gigs that might come to mind that you played?
One time we played in a swimming pool. That was pretty cool. It was like
Did not see that one coming.
I know, it's my favorite. It's a swimming pool that was turned into an apartment complex that was turned into a venue. So it's called The Pool, and it's in like South Bend, Indiana. Got to play there. It was really fun.
That's a good one. All right, I think if we might have a little more time, could you guys play one more time, maybe?
Absolutely.
Would that be possible?
Yeah. Do you
All
mind?
right.
Do you mind if we come out to you guys for this one? No. Okay.
All right.
All right, you guys. Let's hear it again for the Accidentals.